GamerFitnation's BlackBible. I'm here with Hector, the producer of Injustice, and we're ready to show you what we're willing to do to make justice happen. So, yo, we met at Comic-Con. Injustice was crazy. I beat up my friend in it. You were there. We laughed. We cried. Everything. So tell us what's new. We're almost there. We're almost at that critical moment where we get to finally take it home. So tell us what's going on.
Yeah, you know, we've just been fine-tuning, finishing up all the content. You know, I think at Comic-Con you had like about 8 characters playable. Now we got somewhere around 20 characters playable in this build. We're nearing the end right now. We've just been fine-tuning everything. You know, we've been finishing up all the backgrounds. We've been finishing up all the characters, finalizing all the single-player content in the game, just getting everything ready for launch, man. You're exactly right. We're right at the finish line. We're ready to send it out to the masses.
Very cool. Now, I have to ask this because I want it so bad, and I don't know if it's too late, but will Lobo be in this game? I know you got this question. Lobo's the main man. He got to be in the game.
Yeah, you know what? We haven't really announced all the characters yet because, you know, so many people have like so many suggestions like that. You know, DC has so many characters that you can choose from. It's hard to kind of like pick them out, but what I tell people is that if their favorite characters, you know, didn't make it into the main game, know that, you know, we have plans to do DLC in the future, so if they want to suggest, you know, things to us, you know, hit us up on all the social networks and let us know what characters they want to see, and hopefully we can fit that into the plan.
Lobo, that's it. That man's the whole game right there. Lobo.
He's a pretty entertaining character.
Yes, he is. That's why he'll be great. He's like the Deadpool of DC in a way.
Yeah.
Now, what are we going to, did you release any new characters today, announce anything?
You know what, no, but recently we've announced Black Adam and Raven, like within the last like few weeks, and they're actually playable in this build today, so people are actually getting their hands on them for the first time, so people have been really liking them a lot.
So happy, yo. Yeah, I was asked for Black Adam, and I was so happy you put him in.
Yeah, he's cool, you know, the people that know him love him, you know, but there's a lot of casuals that don't really know that character, but when they play him, they're going to see he's kind of a boss. He's really, really cool.
Yeah, he's tough. He had to be in the game. Now, on another level, now I'm doing this for a friend because I have to get it out. I want to hear straight from the horse's mouth. My friend made a suggestion. Because, you know, since you were Warner Brothers and, you know, everything, you have a couple of licenses. Years ago, Warner Brothers did something really cool. They introduced Looney Tunes characters as superheroes. So, you know, even though this might change the complexities, but later on, do you think it's possible, or do you think it's something that would be cool to have Looney Tunes characters in Injustice? I mean, not part of the main story, but like a DLC.
Man, yeah, I don't know. You know, it would have to make sure that it fit with kind of the art style that we were going in. You know, like we're trying to have this game have a little bit of seriousness, and I don't know how serious you could take a game with kind of Bugs Bunny, you know, in there, and Elmer Fudd and those kind of guys on there. But it would be cool one day to do kind of like a Looney Tunes fighting game in and of itself, like kind of like a wacky game like that. So that might be something that we could look into in the future. I mean, Warner Brothers just has so many different licenses and so much stuff across the board. There's an infinite number of possibilities that you can do with games in Warner Brothers, and I think we're blessed to be in that position.
And now, see, that was my suggestion, that it be a separate fighting game. So, well, that was for you, Calder, man. I got that question for you, so now you heard it from their mouth. Now, as far as characters, now there's some characters that technically really wouldn't fit in the game because they would probably dominate the story because of their power levels. So, to mention some of those characters, are there characters of who you know you can't bring in the game at this time that you have liked to see in the game?
No, you know what? Any character that we wanted to have in the game, we put in the game. You know, we had our top list and we got them all in there. I mean, Superman's in the game and he fights Catwoman. So, like, you know, we've figured out a way to make that make sense in the storyline of Injustice. I know some comic book fans might not get it, but once they play the story, they'll understand, you know, how does somebody like Superman, who's one of the most overpowered characters in the comic universe, you know, fight somebody like the Joker or like Lex or somebody that's not really kind of like hand-to-hand strength based. So we've done a good job to make sure that they've kind of been, that kind of power has been explained.
And you also have an Injustice comic that actually complements, is a prequel to it, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, DC liked our story so much that they decided to make a comic book based on our game, which was based on comic books in the first place. So it's kind of like a big circle going back. But they've been really, really popular. They've been the top-selling digital comics for the last like 2 months since they've been out, and the story's really, really good. I would suggest everybody pick them up.
That's awesome. Is there anything else about Injustice that you could tell us that we do not know?
You know, we're going to have a lot of stuff, a lot of information coming out about the online modes in the next couple of weeks. We haven't really announced that stuff yet, so all of that information's coming. Still got a couple characters that we're going to release in a few weeks as well, and just this week we've talked a lot about some of the different single-player game modes that we've had. So I would just suggest people kind of just follow up on the news, and you know, there's stuff about the Star Labs mission that's out there, there's stuff about the story mode, there's stuff about the battles, there's stuff about all kinds of things out there. So Injustice is going to be chock full of content.
Now, 2 more questions. One, as far as side quests, are you going to do anything with side quests?
Yeah, you know what? The Star Labs kind of missions are kind of like the side quests of Injustice. They're kind of like their own little things. It's almost like the challenge tower of Injustice, where you have a bunch of like different kind of missions, little mini missions, and you kind of earn stars to unlock even more missions. And they're all based on your, all the chapters are based on characters. So you'll do like 10 Superman missions, 10 Batman missions, that kind of stuff going along. So it's a fun little diversionary thing off the main game, because it's filled with a bunch of like mini games that are fun and stuff like that.
All right, so this last question is going to be crucial. I really want you to take a second. If you got to pause for a second, think of your answer. This isn't, you know, this is cool, right? Now, as you know, in Mortal Kombat, they introduced outside forces such as Kratos and Freddy Krueger. Now, we wouldn't want to do too different from these, you know, in Injustice, but there was one person who I felt that you could add from an outside force. He would make sense, and people will like it, and because he has no home. He has no home.
That's right.
What do you think about the idea of, as a DLC character, Spawn?
That would be cool, but I think that boat might have already passed. You know.
Why you say that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Spawn is still kind of like, you know, are people hyped for Spawn still? Like, I don't know. I know I'm hyped for Spawn because I'm like an old school dude, and I'm sure you're in it. But like, do kids nowadays, do they know that Spawn is kind of like that dude and like, you know, has all these kind of powers? Like,
well, see, that's the thing. You know, for people who already know who Spawn is, we're going to hype it up. We're going to hype it up so much that the people who don't know are going to be like, yo, who is Spawn? They're going to research it. I mean, that's how it happens. And then Spawn's powers are so unique and such in a way. I mean, the whole thing, the reason why I chose him is because he really doesn't have a home. You will never really see a Spawn fighting game. You won't see Spawn again. But Injustice can breathe life into him. And he's a character who actually crossed over to the DC universe before. I feel like that's something that, as far as the DLC, that you should probably look into. I think a lot of people will like it.
Yeah, we'd have to probably research, you know, who actually owns that license and who would get the paper if we had to do something like that. You know, there's a million and one great ideas, but when it comes down to getting the legalities kind of like played out and stuff, you always got to kind of, you know, tread lightly to figure that out. But it is a good suggestion. I wonder what his powers would be. We'd have to really think about that. Like,
he would, to me, he would work for Injustice.
I would like Medieval Spawn. That was always my favorite Spawn of all of them, dude. I thought that he was always cool. But yeah, we'll have to look into that. It's a good suggestion.
Cool. Well, yo, that was GamerFitnation's Antwand, Pearman, also known as BlackBible. I'm here with my guy for Injustice. You heard it here. GamerFitnation. Peace.
Bye-bye. Thank you.